Welcome back to another episode of The Money Honey, the show that brings together women in property, in finance, and in construction. But never did I think I'd have a holistic or ex-holistic therapist and counsellor on the show. Now, absolute rock star in the mortgage world. So the theme of today is going to be about how you can totally use your skills from a previous industry and bring it into financial services and absolutely thrive. In fact, when I say in fact, I don't have a scientific statistic, but I just know from conversations that I've had that a lot of successful mortgage brokers in the industry of financial services are successful because they didn't start out in financial services and they took skills and experiences from an industry outside the box. So this episode is going to be all about transferable skills and how you can use your previous experiences to thrive in the mortgage industry or in any industry. It's just about not holding yourself back and not letting your past determine what your future looks like. In fact, it can actually shape exactly who you're going to be. And I totally relate to this topic because I came into financial services by complete accident. If any of you have been following my story, you'll know. And if you don't know, I'll tell you. I came into mortgages in 2015 and I went in straight at the deep end. Like I wasn't doing vanilla, straightforward high street mortgages, right? I was not CMAP qualified. I didn't even have my own mortgage. So I didn't even know what loan to value and, all this stuff was, right? And I got this job with a packager, right? Like literally the hardest thing to do, jumping straight in, doing bridging, development, second charges, all the specialist stuff, like all the stuff that the high street would say no to is the stuff that I was doing. And yet I still didn't have my own mortgage. It was the hardest subject to try and learn, but my transferable skills came from doing sales, sponsorship, events, doing social media, doing marketing, doing languages. Like languages has been like the biggest education tool that I could use in my career. So because I could talk to so many different people in so many different languages, I was actually really easy, like bridging a whole new language. So it just felt like learning a new language and talking to a whole new host of people that I'd never spoken to before. So I truly know and understand what it's like to take a previous career and mold it into a new one and absolutely thrive. So but that's enough about me. So today is actually, I've got a special guest for this topic because it's so important that we all embrace our journeys and that we all take lessons from our past and make it into our future. And so today I've got Gemma Bennett, a senior mortgage broker at The Mortgage Mum, obviously a household name in the industry, which I'm sure you've all heard of. And she is a winner of 2 industry Rising Star Awards. So that is the ultimate definition of taking someone outside of this industry, bringing them in and them absolutely thriving because they bring a fresh new perspective, a new vision, a new way of doing things. So Gemma is a proud mum. She's a successful business owner. She has been on TV, right? Like literally next level success. She's been on TV. She's won awards. She's a mum. She's a successful mortgage broker. I don't know what else to say about this. Absolute pocket rocket. Gemma, please come on. How are you doing?
Hello, thank you for. Can you come to my house every morning and give me a hype? That's so exciting.
Do you know
Thank
what?
you for having me.
I love that. I love that you like your intro because I I do a lot of research and I don't invite anyone to the show unless I really truly I followed them and really appreciate what it is that they are and who they are and what they're doing. And sometimes that connection is made within 5 minutes because I get it. And for you, I've been following your journey for such a long time, and I'm so grateful that you're here today. Thank you.
Well, it's the same. I've been following you for such a long time, and I love your content. I love your energy. I love how you are so authentic, and yeah, it's such a lovely thing to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Yes. So we are social media friends. That's how it started out, which is mostly how it starts out with either my clients or many of my friends. We start out on Instagram first or on LinkedIn. Then we bump into each other at events. And then you have always been there for me. Like you've liked every single post I put out there. You celebrate, scream and shout from the rooftops when you see me doing something like successful. And I hope you've been feeling that same love back for you.
Yeah,
So yeah, well done
absolutely.
for everything that you've done.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So for anyone who hasn't had the pleasure of being your friend up until now and knowing you, give them a quick whistle stop tour of who you are and where
Yeah.
you've come from and what you do today.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a senior mortgage broker at the Mortgage Mum, which in itself is a big deal because I've actually only been doing mortgages for 3 years and I've been a senior mortgage broker for the last year. Which in our company, it's all about celebrating your successes, bringing your individual self to the forefront. So I was, honoured to become a senior mortgage broker, quite young in my journey, but even that in itself just felt amazing when off the back of the nominations and awards of Rising Star. I mean, there's moments where I sort of thought, hang on a minute, this is so insane. But the truth is, I'm absolutely loving it. And as we're talking about today, my history, my journey has been that for over 10 years I've worked as a therapist, a CBT therapist and holistic therapist, a career that I also absolutely loved. And then around 2020, I had the random decision to explore something else, and I did explore it. I saw our managing director, Sarah Tucker. I saw she was running a course in London. This was early 2020, before we were locked down, so in the February, to almost have a taste of mortgage broking. And I don't know why I cared. I didn't understand my own mortgage. As a self-employed applicant, it was a nightmare. And I'm very creative as a person, and I saw this finance industry as the complete opposite to that. And yeah, it was like this itch that had to be scratched. So I turned up there almost to say, yeah, you don't want to do this. Turned up, had an amazing day. And what I took from it, I think there's such a uniqueness of the Mortgage Mum, of this female empowerment, this holistic side of things, which was very unique. And I loved that. But then there was this problem solving that was just, ticking all the boxes for me, that I thought, oh my goodness, I'm interested in this. I like this. Lockdown came, pandemic, and I decided to get qualified with my CMAP and just see where this could take me. I also was pregnant with my second child at this point, and there was a lot of practical thought processes in this, where I knew I was having another baby. I needed to sort of use my time, earn money for time a bit in a different way. And what turned out to be a little bit of a practical step has become this vocation that I'm so passionate about, and also so excited to be able to bring so much of the skills that I loved to use and had honed from my counselling and holistic creative days into this industry that I thought, and a lot of people thought, were polar opposites. And it's turned out there's so much that marries up, and so much that I've been able to use as my voice and authentic self, that it might be different to what some other people are saying, but actually that's been really helpful to me and has helped me thrive here so far.
I love that. I love it, especially because I do love the world that you came from. I mean, gosh, the amount of money I have spent on therapies and massages and incense oils. So I love that world, and I totally can see why you have become who you are today as a mortgage advisor, because you come with so much compassion and care and love and attention and detail, and every world the world that you are in is all about making that person feel better. It's about
Yeah,
helping that person in front of you, and that's exactly what you're doing with mortgages. That's why that care that you have shines through, because you're not talking about the numbers and the stats and the LTVs, which you have to anyway, but you're talking about the person, how you're going to help them get through, how you're going to solve this challenge for
Mm.
them. So that really, really does shine through. And it's a great way to see someone who wasn't planning on being in this industry actually take it by storm. Like, you've literally been killing it.
What I think has been really, really powerful in this is that money is emotional, no matter why you want it, why you have it, why you don't have it, why, what your plans are in the future. I don't feel like there's much to do with mortgages and trying to raise funds. Even, I mean, I don't deal personally with commercial mortgages, but even if it's your business, that's still very much emotional. And
Very.
I'm yet to find a situation where someone needs money where they don't have an emotional attachment to it. And I think where I've got skills in understanding people's emotions and motive, and then marrying that up with the logistics of finance, I feel like that's been really, really key to this, and why there has, why people are talking to me, and why people are finding they're leaning to me, and why I'm able to help them, because I have to understand that this means everything to that person.
It really does. So what has it meant to you? What's been the highlight in your career in the past 3 years?
Um, oh, there's been a few. So one of the things that's been really really quite satisfying is, as I mentioned, I didn't understand my own mortgage initially, and my husband and I have been self-employed our whole working lives. And therefore, when it came to mortgages, it felt like we had to jump through lots of hoops. We didn't understand it. We felt like no one really wanted to lend to you, and we managed to get mortgages somehow, no idea how. Actually, what's happened now is I feel like I've been on both sides, and I feel like I've got a personal I don't know, mission to help other self-employed people understand what they need to do to prepare themselves for mortgages, whether it be in a year's time or 2 years' time, because I can talk both languages now. I can understand it from their point of view and now from my point of view, and going, oh, it's not a world of no. It's just a case of the lender really needing to understand you and feel secure, and sort of one marrying those two worlds up. And that's been a really nice thing over the last 3 years, to be able to feel confident in saying, hey guys, I've got you here, I can help you. Also a massive moment was the Ideal Home show. I've got a performing background. I love it. I do it for fun as well. So I love a chat. You'll probably notice here. And I'm no no stranger to happily getting up on stage and having a chat. Now, I was pulled in last minute to replace Sarah to present at the Ideal Home show because she had a baby. And that was brilliant to be up there as an expert. But what was actually the most amazing moment for me wasn't delivering a performance, because I've done that before. It was answering the live Q&As, because I could, and that made me think, oh my goodness, I'm not up here just delivering a line and pretending that I know what I'm talking about. I must actually know what I'm talking about, because this isn't scripted. I am answering you live. And that was a real moment of, bashing that imposter syndrome for me. And I really remember that in March this year, thinking, you might actually just know what you're talking about here.
Yes, and isn't it crazy that you still needed that validation, or still
Oh,
needed that
yeah.
confirmation? Because you and not that this is a true picture of your worth, because there are so many people that are amazing at what they do, but they just might not be on stage, or they might not have a trophy. But leading up to the Ideal Home show, you had so many moments in your career that would have confirmed that you absolutely know what you're talking about. Not, testimonials, reviews, the
Mm.
glowing recommendations from people in the industry, your colleagues, how they were hyping you up, how you present yourself, every single client that you turned a no into a yes. Like, those were all along the journey. Yes, you've got those big sparks in your career that, the time when you were on stage, the time you won an award, but that's just one glimpse, one moment in time that has nothing on the rest of your experience. Like, you've worked hard for 3 years. That stage moment is what, like half an hour?
Yeah, yeah, if that. But it's weird, isn't it? Because that imposter syndrome, it gets anyone, no matter what level. I always had the phrase "new level, new devil." Like, you
Oh my god,
just
I say that.
do you, and it's
Yeah.
you know, it gets you at times. And I remember almost every time I got celebrated for something, almost instantly had a moment of, oh my goodness, I've got imposter syndrome. Like it almost had the opposite effect. And then you know, that would maybe happen with longer interims in the middle. But I think also, you know, having the counselling background, I had to remember those, like you said, those moments, like every review, every moment that you've been referred, every you know, moment you've got an offer accepted in, you probably did do it right, and almost had to work on my own cognitions, because you can tell yourself a million stories of why you're not doing the right thing. And actually it's all a process, isn't it? It's I mean, the first year someone said to me, it's a vertical learning curve, and they weren't wrong. Learning mortgages all of a sudden from not being in finance, and you know, it is a vertical learning curve. You have to
It's
work
mental,
it
isn't
out.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
a
don't
lot.
know what day. I can't remember the day that I understood bridging. Like it just happened. Like I can't remember. Oh my gosh, that was the
I
day that
get
I
it
finally graduated from bridging school, or that was the day I finally understood second charges. But you know
yeah.
what? For me, what day it was? Well, it wasn't a day, but I remember thinking, hold on a minute, Roz. You've just come in from nowhere and you are now sitting in front of a mortgage broker who's been in the industry for 20 years, who has never done a second charge before in their life. And you're explaining to them what the benefits are of a second charge, or you've just paid this broker 50% of your prop fee. They did none of the work, but they did their first bridging because of you. Like, this is the first bridging
Yeah.
deal they've ever done. Do you know what I mean? You're like,
Mm.
I actually did that. So I'm not trying to claim to be like the bridging guru or the best in the industry. I'm just one person at a time. I'm making a massive impact onto that person, that person who, you got a mortgage for, who had anxiety and confusion and, overwhelm. You
Mm.
got a yes. Like, did you get every single UK applicant a yes? No. Are
Yeah,
you ever
sure.
going to get every UK applicant a yes? No, that's not the goal,
Mm.
right? So
Mm.
you're already making positive impacts and changes just one application at a time. You're doing that that is your trophy moment. That is every time you get a yes for that customer, or every time you get a no and you give them a detailed financial plan of how to budget for the next time, or
Mm.
how to save up their deposit. That's a win. That's what
Yeah.
you're doing every day.
And you're learning every time, because, you know, I am, compared to some people that have been in the industry over, you know, themselves over 10 years, I'm a baby in here. So there's things I haven't met yet, and I'm learning, and luckily I feel very well supported. And I think it's turned the world of lending into a world of yes for me rather than a world of no. It just feels a lot more innovative, creative, and friendly than what I ever assumed it would be. And part of my personal mission as well is to just empower every client that I meet through educating them that they, you know, their mortgage is going to be the biggest financial commitment they will ever have in their life. And how many people, including admittedly myself once upon a time, don't really understand it. And it's a tragedy, because it's like, it's not that it's that hard to understand. It's that it's possibly never been explained to you in a way that makes you feel empowered, and your future choices need to be empowered. So it just feels like it's so important to me to take the jargon away, take away this kind of them and us feeling, and, you know, bring a person in. They call us intermediaries, don't they? And I want to like be that intermediary, like messenger in my old, well, not my old, I'm still totally woohoo, but it would be a medium, right? So I'll be the intermediary in finance.
Yes, I love that intermediate. Oh, I love that. Well done. Great play on words there. But yeah, I think you're very right. I think if only we could have more people who just turned that negative into a positive, right? That negative experience. You had a negative mortgage experience, not negative, but you were
Yeah.
having a stressful mortgage experience, and you turned it into a bleeding phenomenal career. Like, who does that? Like, I don't have a problem with my gas leak, and I'm like, do you know what? I think I'm going to retrain, because that was a really, really bad experience. Like, that is passion on a new level. Like, that is phenomenal that you just were a customer and then you just turned it into a phenomenal like career helping others. That is really magical. So outside of mortgages and all that kind of stuff, how do you look after Gemma? How does a mum, a successful business owner, a TV presenter or a talk host, stay like all these things that you're doing, how do you keep normal? Like, because you're very
Yeah.
normal, you're very bright and positive and calm. Like, how do you do it?
Do you know what? I love that question. I feel like, the word self love is thrown out a lot, and some people don't like it. But to me, I'm going to rechange that word to self-supporting, and I think it's so. I have loads of hobbies now. I don't have a lot of time, but I fill in those hobbies where I can as a priority. I don't wait for time to appear magically into me and say, oh, you can do that when you've got time, because I tell you what, that will be 10, 15 years down the road, because everybody needs a little bit of me. So I have to put myself up there as, my kids are my priority, but so am I. And I have to put that into my day, my week, wherever it's going to sit. And my things, that these hobbies are not things that are serving others, they are things that are wholly serving my soul. And they include dancing. Love dancing. I'm a trained dancer, so anything I can do to keep that alive. I love improvised comedy. I'm basically an adult that stands in a room and pretends and messes around with other adults, and it's just like insane, but it's so fun. And
Well,
then
you're
my
a
holistic.
comedian.
Sorry.
You're a
Well,
comedian.
it's called improvised comedy. I'm not claiming to be that funny, but they call it that because we make up stuff on the spot, and it sometimes is funny.
Oh my gosh, that is so
And
much fun.
I'm in a
You
local
have to tell me the next
I'm
time.
in
Can
a
I come and
local group
watch?
where we make up a pantomime, a whole pantomime. Most years, unfortunately, it's not on this year, but it's been on for the last 10 years. And the audience tell us what pantomime we're doing. They mess around like with the titles is adult, so it's not necessarily always rude, but it's a bit. They usually try and screw us over a little bit. And we sing, we dance, we make it all up on the spot, and it's just the most wild. It's empowering and liberating. There are no restraints, and they're so supportive of each other. But I love it. And then there's also my spiritual stuff. I go to meditation evenings, sound baths, and like I can't fit all this in all the time. But I make sure if my cup is feeling a bit empty, rather than blame everybody else because they always want a bit of me, I just go, right, come on, let's raise it up. Let's raise my vibration.
I
Um,
love, oh my God, we have so much in common. So I'm a
yeah,
dancer as well.
yes,
I don't know
and
if you
you're
know.
a beautiful
And
dancer. I've
I
seen
don't
you.
just mean like TikTok dancer, right? So a lot of people just think I just do a TikTok trend, but neither am I a trained ballet dancer, but I have danced all my life. And that the other thing, just going back to your point so beautifully made about looking from the outside, looking in at financial services, thinking us doesn't look like an industry that I can truly shine in because I'm a creative, right? So I didn't think that coming from a linguistic background with my events and sponsorship and sales and you know, presentation skills background, that I could fit that into LinkedIn or sorry, not LinkedIn,
Yeah,
financial services. And
yeah,
now when you look at LinkedIn, it's literally like a theatre for me. Like literally,
yeah,
it's my stage.
yeah,
If I want to share a message, I share it through dance. I share it through, a song or something like that. That's the only thing I can't do is sing. But yeah, I have so much love for what you've just said because I actually, sadly, you've just reminded me that I'm not doing anywhere near enough dancing as I should be. I stopped since COVID. Like all my classes that I used to go to
mhm,
were cancelled. Then when they picked up again, you're like, really? Am I really going to go all the way back there? So unfortunately, I've fallen out of a bit with the dancing, but that's why I try and keep it alive as much as possible when I like go on social media because that's like
yeah,
my way now to kind of share that energy with people because it's so much energy, isn't it? When you're dancing, it just
yeah,
really
yeah,
makes it doesn't just make your mood come alive, it also helps other people watching as well.
yeah,
So I love that. And then like yeah, I'll go to yoga, meditation, I love a sound bath. I love going to those like spontaneously
yeah,
when they're on. And yeah, I just you're so right, like it's self-love isn't about loving your hair and your figure
no,
and your it's not about appreciating the aesthetic side to you. It's
No.
actually about caring for yourself
Yeah.
and really looking after yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we can get a bit too adult sometimes, and we
Oh,
need to
serious.
really,
Yeah.
like, when you're a kid, you try new things, you like play around, and I just think that that play needs to end. If you want to be happy, and we've, hopefully we're all going to live to really, really long old ages. I don't want to be, in my 80s thinking, I wish I played more. Like, I play a lot, and I just think I can be serious. Of course, I'm very responsible for lots of things and lots of people, my house, my children, my like everything. But I don't see why we have to stop playing when we become an adult. And, I even tried aerial hoop bit for fun, no reason. And I think sometimes adults are so scared to like try something new because, oh, well, I might not be good at it. And it's like, so like, there's no pressure really. You're not asking for to create a career into it. Like, just play around, just
Right.
see what feels free to you. And I really do think that, you know, I still get challenged. Things don't happen always, perfectly in my life. It's just because I'm happy doesn't mean everything's always going right. But there's like a baseline of your own resilience if you're going to feed that part of you.
Do you know, and now this explains everything. I get it now. I like the pennies just dropped, and this is something. Sometimes I have to have this conversation with my clients who are advisors and mortgage brokers. Everyone's like, Roz, I just don't want my content to be boring. I want it to be different. I'm like, okay, what do you do outside of work? Nothing, just do mortgages, and then I go home. I'm like, right, I cannot make you sound interesting on social media if you are not actually interesting. Like, if you've got nothing to talk about, sorry to be like rude here, but
Yeah.
I'm very honest, and people who know me, they'll know I just don't hold back. Like, I'm a no BS type of person, and I mean it with love, right? Because I wouldn't be here spending time with you, Mr. Broker or Mrs. Broker, whoever I'm with, if I didn't care. So if you want my opinion, you need to get your life. You need to actually do stuff outside of mortgages, because otherwise on social media you will only be talking about mortgage rates, and that is boring. I can't make mortgage rates sound interesting. The only way for you to show your personality on social media is by talking about things that aren't mortgage related. And that is what the whole group at the Mortgage Mum are absolutely so good at, because Sarah has been, well, we've had a money honey on here before. We've had the lovely
Yes,
Sonia.
lovely Sonia. Yes.
We have another. Well, you guys just seem to be producing successful people. So, well, and success breeds success, and I can see it coming from the top down. Where, Sarah, you know so many features about her. Like, she's a singer. She's a mum.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she does fitness. I know all the. I've never met Sarah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I already know all these things about her, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's many things I've missed. But people buy from people, and they always will.
Yes. Yes. 100%. I think, like you say, you've got to know, like, and love the people that you're buying from. So you've got to show your authentic self. And I think personally, before nothing to do with when we're going into the mortgage industry, I was on an authenticity journey through my therapy, working on like stop hiding elements of yourself and trying to fit into a box, just be all of you. And then I came into mortgages, and now I'm like, well, I'm not going to pretend to look like a mortgage broker or act like a mortgage broker, because I think that's all assumption anyway. So I'll just do me, and let's see how that runs. And luckily or thankfully, the Mortgage Mum really, one, nurtures that, never asks you to be anything but your unique self. We also, part of our core belief system and values is to lift as you climb. So every bit of success we get as the Mortgage Mum, you lift another Mortgage Mum up, and you support them and you cheer them on. And that is the culture that Sarah's created. So thankfully you're seeing it and we're living it, so I'm grateful for that.
I love it. I'm totally seeing that culture. That's exactly how it comes across. And then when I meet you all as individuals, and I've met many mortgage mums, I see exactly that, and actually the common thread that I've also seen is that many of you have not come from a mortgage background, have come from a different background. So there's a key to success there as well that has been true to the Mortgage Mum. So I can we just, can we like log off, get a cocktail and carry on, because I literally have so many more things to talk to you about, because I just didn't realize we had all of these things in common, as far as dancing and meditation and all this stuff. So thank you for sharing that with me. It's been truly special to bring this to the audience of the Money Honey listeners, because the listeners are either from a corporate, business, or consumer background. So they'll typically either be interested in money and property, or they are in money and property. We've got leaders, senior leadership, management, directors, and entrepreneurs, right the way through to entrants who have no idea how to even begin in this journey. So I know you would have really connected with a lot of people listening here. So if people wanted to connect with you further and follow your journey, where's the best place for them to find you?
I think I'm most active on my Instagram, so at Gemma Bennett _, the mortgage mum. I'm on Facebook under the same tag, and I am on LinkedIn as well. So you can find me on all those places. I think that the platform I tend to use the most organically is Instagram. Really, if you really want to see the stories and what's actually going on behind the scenes, then that's where you want to be.
I mean, Instagram, mortgage broker, not often, they don't often go together. And actually most of my clients come from LinkedIn. So most mortgage brokers use LinkedIn or just passively use LinkedIn. But actually just, again, so creative, like that you can actually use and educate and empower your audience through such a dynamic and vibrant platform. Like, again, I enjoy talking a lot on Instagram because I can do stories and reels and posts and gifs and emojis, and that's just bringing the message to life. So yes, please guys, Gemma is absolutely killing it on social media. She's got great content. She's always got the latest information about what's going on in the mortgage industry, what's happening in the property market. So you'll get plenty of education as well as entertainment from Gemma's platform. So definitely check Gemma out. And if you're listening again, thank you for coming back for yet another show, for another guest speaker. Thank you for supporting all of the speakers that come on the show. If you love the episode and you enjoyed it, of course, please do reshare it, save it, but of course, reach out to Gemma, let her know what a great job she did. If you feel like she touched a nerve or she really sparked something in you, please, like the guest speakers, they don't know that they've reached you until they know they've reached you. So please do share any positive feedback that you have with Gemma. And of course, to stay tuned with the next speaker and the next and the next, because we've got so many more exciting speakers coming up on the show. Please remember to subscribe. And if you actually dare to even nominate yourself that you would love to be on the show, we're already fully booked at least a month in advance. At the time of recording this, it's November. We're actually fully booked till February. So if you want to get on the show, you need to get on here fast, because we can only actually interview about 50 money honeys per annum, and that is like the most of that we can do. So if you want to be one of the money honeys for 2024, then all you need to do is send us a DM, and we'd love to check out your story. Thanks again, Gemma, for being on the show.
Thank you.